Hey guys, Outdoor Prepper, I want to welcome you to the channel. What we've got here today is the Predator 5,000 watt dual fuel inverter. So as many of you guys may or may not know, I'm big into emergency preparedness and generators specifically because I think having an alternate power supply is really, really important. I just went out and purchased two Blue Eddies solar generators. I got the AC 180 and I got the AC 200L. I just did a review of the 180 and I would really encourage you to watch that because I highly recommend it. The 200L I have not taken out of the package yet, but I'm going to, and we'll do a review of that shortly. But one of the reasons why I picked up this Predator is because a traditional generator runs at 3,600 RPM. It does not produce clean power. It's fairly dirty if you look at the sine wave, and they burn a lot of fuel. This Predator sips fuel. So if you run this on gasoline, you'll get about 18 hours on 3.5 gallons of gasoline. If you run it on a barbecue tank, a 20-pound tank, you will get approximately 10 hours on a propane tank. Obviously, it depends on your load, the weather, there's all sorts of variables, but you could figure approximately 10 hours. If you were to link this with a solar generator, such as the Blue Eddy AC 180 or the 200L, then you have like massive amounts of runtime. Because basically you can charge the solar generator from the standard generator. You can run the standard generator, which is, the inverter here, for a few hours. Then you can run the solar one. It gives you so many options. You run out of gasoline, you run on propane. You run out of propane, you run on gasoline. So I'm going to talk a lot more about this in subsequent videos, but for today's video, this is basically, brand new. I took it out of the box, I put oil in it, and that's it. So I want to run it for 5 hours. I want to get 5 hours runtime and then do an oil change. So today, I figured it's a nice day out. Let's take it out, let's fire it up, and let's let it run for 5 hours. Just a couple of side views here. This thing is really nice. I mean, I know some people knock Harbor Freight, but the Predator line of generators, they consistently get really good reviews. And I think if you change the spark plug, you put a nice NGK plug in here, you maintain it, I think this is going to give you many hundreds, if not thousands of hours of service. One thing I want to mention, and if you own this generator, if you're thinking about getting this generator, I think it's important to know this. Gasoline is not as good as it used to be, and it gums up the carburetor. It really screws things up. Just going to zoom in here so you can kind of get a look at the control panel. So what I plan on doing, unless it's an emergency, and I'm running this for extended hours during an emergency, I'm only going to test it and run it on propane, because propane is clean. It's not going to mess up that carburetor. It's going to keep the carb nice and clean, nice and pristine, so that I know when I need this for real, it's going to start. So what I'm going to do now is remove that little rubber cap where it says propane. I'm going to hook up the propane line right here, which is this piece. It's got a little collar. You just pull the collar back and you plug it right into the port. I'm then going to hook the regulator up to the tank. I'm going to turn the knob right here. It's on off and storage. I'm going to turn it over to propane, and then to start it, you flip the power switch right there. You flip it to on, and then it's got a push to start button just like a car. But one thing I've seen a lot of people, they kind of mess this up. You've got to push that button 2 times. Once to give it power, the second time to start it. There will be air in the line because this is obviously new, and every time you disconnect it, you've purged basically the propane from the line. So it may take 2 attempts to start it before it will come up to speed. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to get this on a tripod, and then I'm going to hook it all up, and we're going to start it together. All right, so let's go ahead and hook this up, and then I'm going to take the camera and face it towards the control panel as I go ahead to start it. So basically right now, all I'm going to do is get the propane tank set up. And actually, this is a good time for a little housekeeping. If you guys wouldn't mind liking and subscribing if you find this helpful, it really does help my channel out, and it helps me out. I'm trying to grow the channel, so any support would be really appreciated. All right, so it's a quick connect. I just connected that. Now I'm just going to connect this up to the tank. All right, that's nice and secure. I'm just going to double check the quick connect one more time, because I did do that with one hand. And that all appears to be fairly secure. I'm just going to move the tank a little further away, just for safety. And let's bring the camera over here now. And let's zoom in a little bit. I want you guys to see, hopefully, how easy this is to start it up. And this will be the first time I'm starting it as well. So hopefully all goes well. And I'm turning on the propane. And actually, one thing I read on some reviews of other generators, when you turn the propane on, don't just turn it on super quick. Turn the tank on a little slow, let the propane come in and flow, because otherwise, I guess there is some check valve in the regulator that could, stop the flow of propane. So the tank is on. I'm going to come over here now. And just so you know, I did fill it with oil already. I checked all that. Probably should take these pieces of paper off. So I'm going to turn this to propane. I'm going to turn the power switch on. Probably better if that's off. Power switch is on. This is on propane. It's kind of hard to see, but when you press this once, a green light came on and the whole switch is flashing. I'm going to press it again. It's probably not going to start on the first try because there is air in the line, but let's give it a try. That's okay. Let's try it a second time. Not quite sure what happened there. And there we go. I'm just going to hit lock on the wheel so it doesn't roll around. All right, it started on the third attempt. I don't really know what happened on the second attempt. It almost sounded like the starter missed the flywheel. So not really sure on that. But that started right up pretty easily. Taking a look right now at the eco throttle, that is the switch right above the propane inlet, and that is off. And this right here is the eco throttle. If you put this on, it will throttle the engine down and it will adjust the engine speed based on the electrical load. So if you're starting a motor, if you're pulling a lot of power, it's going to speed up the engine. It's got a little motor on the carburetor to let more fuel in. And then obviously if you don't need that electrical power, that high output, it'll throttle it back down, you'll save fuel, and it'll be a lot quieter. For the purposes of today, I'm going to leave the eco throttle off. I want this to run at normal engine speed, because I really want to do like a 5-hour break-in of the unit. As you guys can hopefully hear on the mic, this is a very quiet unit. This is not like a more traditional non-inverter generator. This is super quiet. And another thing, this is an enclosed case, so the whole motor is enclosed. It's got proper ventilation. There's air vents down at the bottom in the front by the control panel that come out the other side as well. So it is actually better to keep the covers on this at all times, so that way it can properly cool itself. So I'm going to go ahead and take the eco throttle off now and let it run back at full engine speed. So that's full engine speed, which marginally louder, but still very quiet, all things considered. Let me go ahead and lower the tripod a little bit so you can hopefully get a nice view of the LCD screen. So bear with me. So this screen right here, just adjust this a little bit. This shows all sorts of different information, such as output, hours. It's got low oil, overload. There's a green light on for output. It's just really hard to see because it's very bright sun out here. And that little round circle to the right of the screen allows you to scroll through different data sets on that screen. Again, right now it's showing 124 volts. You can see hertz, you can see amps, you can see output, Obviously there's no load on this right now. To the left here, that large black square right here, that's the travel trailer plug. To the right of that is your standard duplex outlet. To the right of that, let's see if I can move the camera and I'll show you. Just zoom out a little bit. So I'm going to walk over there and I'll just kind of point out some of these things that I'm talking about. So over here is your travel trailer outlet, and that's what you would hook up if you had a trailer, travel trailer. They also sell converters. You can hook this up to a transfer switch with a converter. This is your standard duplex outlet, two 120 outlets. This is a standard USB, a USB-A and a USB-C. This right here would be if you want to charge a car battery. It comes with the cables that plug right into there, and you can charge a standard car battery from that as well. These two ports right here are if you want to parallel the unit to another unit. So if you have another Predator 5000 and you want to double your power, they sell a parallel kit that you would plug in right there. These are just circuit breakers. This is the 30 amp circuit breaker for the travel trailer outlet. This is a 20 amp breaker for the standard duplex outlet. Again, this is your main on-off power. There is a battery inside here, which is how this has the electric start. Let's just stop it for a minute, and then I'm going to restart it in just a second. And this right here, again, is your eco throttle on or off. So now that I've stopped this, the line should be full of propane, so it should actually start right back up pretty quickly. But let's give it a try. That was fairly easy to start back up. So yes, so far I'm pretty happy with it. I don't know why it took 3 attempts to start it initially. I figured it would have taken 2. I just don't know what happened on that second attempt. But also it does have a pull start. Let's come around here, let me just grab the camera again. So if for whatever reason your electric start failed, maybe your battery died, maybe there's a problem with the starter, it does have a standard pull start as well. Coming up here to the top, there is a fuel gauge. I do not have any gasoline in here right now. I'm running only on propane. I'm trying to think of anything other major to point out. Down here on the wheel, that is the lock and unlock lever. So I have it locked, and it basically just locks that one wheel. It prevents it from spinning. That handle down there, kind of like a travel luggage type handle, you just pull it out and extend it, and then you can lift the generator with that and wheel it around. So far I'm pretty happy. Like I said, this is the initial run, so I'm going to let this run for a few hours. I'm going to plug a space heater in. I'm going to put a couple of different loads on it just to kind of exercise the electronics of it as well. And then we'll be back in a couple of hours. I'll let you know how it's been running. Okay guys, we're back out here. It's been running now for about 3 hours or so. I've put a little bit of a load on it. I've got a space heater out here. And as you can see from the gauge, we're pulling 1,490 watts, almost 1,500 watts. And, I think that's a good thing. I think we got to keep a load on it for a little while. So I've been alternating with a load, with no load. I'm going from high on the heater, which is 1,500 watts, to low, which is about 900. And I'm just going to keep letting this go until we get to about 5 hours. And then once we're at 5 hours of runtime, I'm going to stop it, do an oil change, put fresh oil in, and then at that point, I think we're going to be good to go. I'm going to pack it away, keep it in the garage until we need it. And like I said, every time I test this, which is probably going to be once a month, for maybe 20 minutes with a little bit of a load, I'm going to run it on propane. That way, it keeps the carburetor nice and clean. And then if I really need to use this for an outage, I've still got the propane, but I've also got gasoline, so I can run it on either without really being concerned about the carburetor getting gummed up. So that pretty much wraps up this review of the Predator 5000. I am extremely happy with it so far. Again, the only testing I've really done is what you're seeing right now. It easily carries the load. It starts flawlessly on the propane. When I stopped it for a little bit for about 20 minutes just to simulate restarting it, and it started right back up first try. So, you know, I wasn't really happy that it took 3 tries to start it the first time. I figured it would take 2. But like I said, the second time, I think for whatever reason, the starter just did not seem like it engaged. But since then, it's been working flawlessly. I did try the pull start. That works as well. So I think we're good to go. Like I said, leave some comments. Any questions? I'll do my best to answer. And if you could do me a favor, like and subscribe. Thank you.